following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers, this is the TFangi coming to you with hopefully be a quick and successful review, and today we're going to be taking a look at arguably the most sought after figure of Wave 3 of the Transformers Legacy United line, most sought after deluxe class figure is what I meant to say. This is Transformers Legacy United Cybertron Hot Shot. So this is based on Hot Shot's appearance in the Transformers Cybertron cartoon show back in 2005 and 2006. And this was, even though Transformers Cybertron wasn't the last cartoon that Hot Shot appeared in, it was the last Transformers cartoon series where he was a focal character. And since I was introduced to the Transformers franchise with Transformers Armada, and the Transformers Armada version of Hot Shot was given a deluxe class figure in the Legacy Year 1 line, one of the main reasons why Hot Shot was created was because at the time, at the beginning of the 2000s, Hasbro had lost registered trademarks to both Bumblebee and Hot Rod's names, and so Hot Shot was created to be a mashup of both Generation 1 Bumblebee and Generation 1 Hot Rod. And because Hasbro, just in time for the first live-action Transformers movie, managed to get a registered trademark on Bumblebee's name again, and then they got a registered trademark again on Hot Rod a few years after that. And Hot Shot was sidelined, and he's been sidelined to this day. So whether or not Hot Shot will enjoy a greater time in the spotlight again, like he did during the Transformers Unicron trilogy, remains to be certain. And on that note, Hot Shot was one of only 3 Autobot characters who appeared in all 3 Unicron trilogy cartoon shows of Armada, Energon, and Cybertron, the other 2 being, of course, Optimus Prime and also Jetfire. But in terms of the 3 action figures Hot Shot was given in Armada, Energon, and Cybertron, many Transformers fans and collectors that the Cybertron version of Hot Shot was the best of the 3 since it had the most articulated joints, transformation wasn't that too difficult, and both Hot Shot's robot mode and vehicle mode owed his original Cybertron action figure was pretty cartoon accurate to his appearance in the Cybertron TV show. I missed out on the original Cybertron Hot Shot action figure, but I did get the figure that was repainted from it, which was Transformers Cybertron Excellion, which was basically Cybertron Hot Shot in G1 Hot Rod's paint job, and that was kind of Hasbro's way of letting Transformers fans at the time know. For those of you who This was Hasbro basically saying, for those of you fans out there who guess that Hot Shot is supposed to be like G1 Hot Rod with bits of G1 Bumblebee's personality thrown in, yeah, you're right, Hot Shot is basically the closest we could get to giving you Hot Rod by, and so we'll acknowledge that by repainting Cybertron Hot Shot in G1 Hot Rod's colors and giving him an entirely brand new name of Autobot Excellion. Hot Shot never appeared in the Cybertron cartoon in G1 Hot Rod's colors because halfway through the Cybertron cartoon, Hot Shot was one of 3 Autobots who were blown to bits by Galvatron when he received a new Gatling machine gun type weapon. But luckily, Hot Shot, even though he was severely injured, he was repaired and restored by the power of the Omega Lock and the Cyberplanet keys, and he took on a new vehicle mode of an armored assault vehicle. I can't remember what type of vehicle it was supposed to be based on. It wasn't a tank because it had 4 wheels on it, but a few years ago during the Transformers Siege line in 2019, the Siege Hound mold was repainted with a new head sculpt into Hot Shot's appearance during the second half of the Transformers Cybertron cartoon, and with his armored vehicle alt mode, Hot Shot and the other 2 Autobots who were damaged by Megatron, which were Scattershot and Red Alert, they were reformatted into the Transformers Cybertron Cyber Defense team because they had vehicle modes with lots of weapons, and even when they transformed to robot mode, they had even more weapons, and so they had the most firepower out of all the Autobots in the Transformers Cybertron cartoon, so they could defend anyone from any Decepticon attack, including Megatron on himself, due to their upgraded vehicle modes. So, for many Transformers fans and collectors, Siege Hound just being given a new head sculpt and saying this is Hot Shot in his final cyber defense team form, that figure has been a bit of a letdown, especially for Transformers Cybertron fans and fans of the Unicron trilogy in general. But from the reviews I've seen so far, this right here, the Legacy United, a Cybertron Hot Shot figure, it is a pretty decent update to the original Cybertron on deluxe class figure that was released in 2005. The Cyber Key gimmick has been removed, and also another feature that's been removed was the spring activated missile that could actually launch from Hot Shot's laser gun. The missile is now just permanently sculpted part of the laser gun, and the Cyber Key is just ornamental. Hold on. The original Cybertron Hot Shot figure, the Cyber Key, when you would insert it into the back of Hot Shot's vehicle mode, it would you can see it pictured right there on the side of the box. It would open up a set of wings that acted like a racing spoiler, and it allowed Hotshot to drive in vehicle mode so fast that he would practically fly off the surface of the road, whatever road he was driving on. And so it's really nice that they managed to at least keep all those parts here. You're on Hotshot, even though you now have to activate them all by hand. It's not a automatic gimmick. It's still nice nonetheless. So here's Hotshot's vehicle mode for the box art. On this side, you got close-up of Hotshot's face. You got his robot mode. On the other side of his box, you got half of the poster image for the Transformers Legacy United line, celebrating the 40th anniversary of the franchise. And then, of course, on the back of the box, you've got Hotshot in robot mode and alt mode. He transforms back and forth between both modes in 17 steps. And, of course, he, like his original figure, he still does come with the Cyber Key. Hotshot, that's original Cybertron action figure. It came with the red Cyber Key from the Velocitron plant, and it the power of the Vector Prime sword, which had a power reminiscent of the Omega Lock and the Cyber Planet keys to recognize Hotshot being a fast-driving Autobot with an equally fast vehicle mode. So he originally had a Velocitron Speed Planet Cyber Key that he would use. When he upgraded to the Cyber Defense team, he came with a Planet Cybertron on Autobot Cyber Key, which had the Autobot symbol on it. So unlike the Cyber Defense Hotshot that was released in the Generation Selects line, which was a repaint of Siege Hound with a new mold. Legacy United Hotshot here, he is an entirely brand new mold, which is pretty nice, and I think that's one of the reasons why he wasn't released until 1 month after his Wave Mates were released on Amazon. Hotshot's one of 3 brand new deluxe class figures that make up Wave 3, the Wave 3 deluxe class size assortment for Legacy United. His Wave Mates are Cyburn, which I reviewed a few days ago. Cyburn was a repaint with a new head of Legacy Shadow Striker. Almost forgot her name there for a moment. And then the third deluxe figure is Nucleus, which is the latest Infernac universe, basically the latest Rock Lord, and that figure's a retool of the Wave 1 Rock Lord deluxe figure of Magnius. So I can kind of see why it took a little Hotshot a month longer to become in stock. Since he's a brand new mold, it took more time to develop him, but that's just me spitballing as to why he wasn't released at the same time as Wave Mates were, at least on Amazon.com. There were a handful of other websites where Hotshot did become available for purchase early, but you had to pay scalper prices to get the figure early, and I've learned from over the last few years of my past experiences, you end up, if you pay more than retail price for a Transformers figure that you know will eventually be sold at mass retail, you end up kicking yourself for the extra money you spent and on that figure. And so most recently I've learned that patience, the value of the metaphor, patience is a virtue, and waiting for figures to go on sale at retail price, or even or sometimes discounted even less. So the wait was worth it, waiting for Hotshot to arrive from Amazon. So without further delay, let's get this guy out of the box and take a close look at him in robot mode. Alright, and so here is Legacy United Deluxe Class Cybertron Hotshot out of the box, and I gotta say, he is really tall. I believe Hotshot now holds the title of being the tallest deluxe class figure that's been released in the entire Legacy line. Definitely Legacy United, but I think also he might now be the tallest deluxe figure released in all three sublines of Legacy. Even back in 2005, during the run of the original Transformers Cybertron line of action figures, Hot Shot was one of the tallest deluxes of the Cybertron line. I think he might have actually been the tallest deluxe. He wasn't the largest artist, but he was definitely the tallest when transformed into robot mode. And the designers at Hasbro and Takara Tomy did manage to successfully mimic how tall of a deluxe class figure Hot Shot was. As his original form, Cybertron Hot Shot, he was slightly taller than the Cyber Defense Deluxe class figure that he got, but they were almost the same height, so it wasn't too much of a size difference. Not at all like it is when you compare him with the Siege Cyber Defense Hot Shot figure that was released in the Generation Selects line. And yeah, this figure is this was a half-hearted attempt at updating that Cyber Defense Hot Shot figure, because it's not even the correct vehicle mode. So hopefully the designers at Hasbro and Takara Tomy will look back at the original Cyber Defense Hot Shot figure and go, with just a few tweaks like we did when designing the new non-Cyber Defense Cybertron Hot Shot figure, we can redesign a figure that's much closer to Cyber Defense Hot Shot. But comparing these two figures to each other, this one feels like this is the upgrade and this was the original. Like Hot Shot abandoned and in having the alt mode that this figure has in favor of the sports car / racing car that he has, so he can move around more. And even if it meant less weapons, having less weapons didn't matter if speed is what Hot Shot wanted to use to fight the Decepticons. So yeah, it's but that's more about the Generation Selects figure. But here on the new Legacy United figure, it's pretty impressive how faithful Hot Shot is compared to his original action figure. This is one of those chug style figures where, similar to Transform, the best example I could think of is similar to the Legacy Evolution version of the Commander Class Armada Optimus Prime figure, which I still haven't gotten to reviewing yet. He's still inside his box. I'm pointing back there behind me, but this is one of those updated versions of a Unicron Trilogy figure where the transformation, the proportions of the robot mode, the joints the robot mode utilizes, and then also when you transform it into vehicle mode, the overall appearance of the vehicle mode, the paint job, and the sculpting detailing. It's almost a carbon copy of the original figure with just added bits of articulation. But if you have the original Cybertron Deluxe Class Hot Shot figure, there are some subtle differences. One being that the windshield on the backpack it's much larger on the original Cybertron Hot Shot figure, and of course the missile right here on Hot Shot's missile launcher, and the launcher, it was actually a spring activated missile. On the original Cybertron Hot Shot figure, this silver bar that's painted here on the top of the Legacy United figure's laser gun, that was actually a button. When you push that down, this would launch out of a spring launching mechanism. And Hot Shot would blast the Decepticons. It's the same with the Cyber Key. The Cyber Key was much bigger, and when you pushed it down here on Hot Shot's back, it made more sense in vehicle mode, but when you push down the Cyber Key would activate this pair of wings that Hot Shot had, so it would allow him to move even faster without the wings, and so he almost was capable of flying. But as far as the wings deploying, since Hot Shot didn't actually fly, he kind of was almost like Generation 1 Trax in a way, where his third alt mode was just his car mode with a pair of wings on it. But overall, it is still a pretty really impressive looking deluxe class figure. It might be my favorite chug style deluxe class figure released to date. One of the wings just popped off right here. So on the original Cybertron Hot Shot figure, they were ironically pinned into place, but now they're just pegged on the back right here. So that's a bit of a letdown. One thing that the designers did improve on from this new updated figure compared to the original Cybertron Hot Shot figure was this connection peg right here that allows you to actually connect Hot Shot's backpack into his torso. On the original Cybertron Hot Shot figure, the way the figure transformed is that once you transformed Hot Shot into robot mode, the backpack actually just hung off of Hot Shot's back like this, and it could swing around in place. And over time, the swivel joint would become loose, and the backpack would swing to either side. So if you so here on the Legacy United figure, if you don't fold down this connection tab and lock the backpack into place, and you just leave it untransformed armed like that, then you can replicate Hot Shot's original Cybertron backpack neck where it spun around. And on that note, one thing I wish the designers here would have done on the new Legacy United figure is I wish they would have put a swivel joint that would have allowed the windshield to spin around 180 degrees, because that's one thing I've secretly dreamed of, is that if and when we finally got a chug-style figure of Cybertron Hot Shot, I wish they would have put a swivel peg right there, which would have allowed the windshield to spin around and then flip up and sit here flush on the backpack, because since it's made out of clear plastic, there is a fear that over time the hinge joint that it's attached to could weaken, or the windshield itself, the clear plastic, could wear out. So that's just a minor nitpick I have, but I wish they would have made it so that the windshield could sit up here on the backpack instead of just hanging off the bottom. It does make Hot Shot's transformation go by quicker, and that's the theme. That was basically the theme with Hot Shot in Transformers Cybertron. It was all about speed and moving as fast as he could, and that's actually what it boiled down to. The highlight of the collecting the first Cyber Planet key from the Velocitron Speed Planet was racing for it. So, yeah, in that regard, the designers at Hasbro and Takara Tomy did manage to achieve their goal of making a Hot Shot not just, I said at the start of the review that he was a mashup of G1 Bumblebee and Hot Rod, but moving as fast as he could, he was to a point, one could argue, a mashup of Generation 1 Blur as well. Also, overall, a pretty good Transformers action figure. One thing that some collectors have pointed out is that one part of the figure that they wish wouldn't have been accurate was how Hotshot's shoulders, how his arms attached to his torso. The way they're attached here on this hinge joint, which is used more for transformation, and having the shoulder sit flush with Hotshot's head, that is accurate to the original Cybertron Deluxe class figure that was released in 2005. So, well, some collectors are kind of hoping that they would have that the designers of Hasbro and Kartomi would have designed a new hinge joint so the shoulders sat more flush with Hotshot's torso. Because having the shoulders sit level with his head, makes Hotshot look almost kind of hunched back, where his head is sitting inside his torso. But overall, it is the designers did manage to hit the line between designing new things and staying true to the source material of the original figure. One minor nitpick I have with Hotshot is I wish they would have made the Autobot logo that's here on his shoulder, which is the only Autobot logo that the new Legacy United figure has. The original Cybertron Hotshot figure had two Autobot logos. The one here on the shoulder was the one in robot mode, and then when you would transform it into vehicle mode, there was an Autobot symbol here on ear that would end up sitting in the center of the hood of his vehicle mode, and so it almost looked like a vehicle manufacturer's logo, showing that Hotshot's alternate mode was manufactured by an automaker on planet Cybertron by the Autobots. So I kind of wish they would have kept that Autobot logo here on the center of the hood. No doubt Toy Hacks is going to come out with a Reaper label sticker that will allow you to put the Autobot logo on the front center of Hotshot's hood. But also, the Autobot logo here on Hotshot's shoulder, that's roughly the size the Autobot logo on the hood was. The Autobot logo on Hotshot's shoulder, it was almost the same size as the shoulder itself. It was much larger than this one is, and also it was sculpted into place. That was one of the gimmicks with the Transformers Unicron Trilogy action figures, not just Cybertron, but also Hotshot and Armada and Energon. On the Autobot logos on the Transformers action figures, they were actually sculpted into the surface of the figure. They weren't just painted on or tampographed onto the surface. So if you wanted to customize one figure and turn an Autobot into a Decepticon or vice versa, you would have to file off the incorrect faction symbol and go the extra mile and either sculpt a new one for yourself or leave it blank, turn the spot where the faction symbol was into a flat surface and just put a sticker over it. So that's one thing I kind of miss Hasbro and Descartes told me doing was actually having the faction symbol be an actual sculpted part of the surface of the Transformers action figures. Because of course there's a fear that the tampographed paint could eventually rub off or get scratched off by accident over time and with age. So, but again, that's just a minor nitpick because I'm just really thrilled with this figure and how accurate it is to the source material. For articulation, Hot Shot's head is on a ball joint so he can spin left and right 180 degrees. It can look up and down ever so slightly, but it's kind of hard to show off because you can't see Hotshot's head when you look at him from the side in profile view. The original Cybertron Deluxe figure, the head was on a swivel joint, so it being on a ball joint, it does give him some slightly more range of motion. Shoulders are on a swivel joint, so they have the potential to spin 360 degrees forwards and backwards, but at some point, this right here, the tip of the hood hits the backpack, and so the arms aren't able to spin backwards 360 degrees. Got a swivel joint in the top of the bicep, hinge joint in the elbows. You do have swivel jointed wrists for the hands, so you can have Hotshot hold his laser gun to the inside inwards if you wanted. And also, one thing that I will say is a vast improvement compared to the original Cybertron Deluxe Hot Shot figure is that the doors, they're actually pegged on by 5mm pegs, and on the original Cybertron Hot Shot figure, there were actually two teeny tiny little rectangle pegs that held the door onto Hot Shot's lower arm, and those pegs were made out of clear plastic, and on my copy of Cybertron Excellion, those two little square pegs broke off, and so I tried to super glue it back into place, but the super glue it wasn't even strong enough, so I've used a rubber band to hold the door to Cybertron Excellion's arm to keep it from falling off. So yeah, that was the most fragile part of the original Cybertron Hot Shot figure was the doors hanging off the arms since they relied on two clear plastic pegs to hang into place. One thing I wish they would have done was on the original Cybertron Hot Shot there were three sculpted missile-looking type laser cannons on the inside of the windshield. You can kind of fake it with the two rectangular pegs here at the very tip of the armor of the vehicle mode door. You can kind of fake those built-in laser guns that Hotshot had in his lower arms originally, but it is a stretch of the imagination. The waist can spin 360 degrees on a swivel joint, but it's hindered going backwards by the windshield hanging off the back. Legs can go out this far, so Hotshot can do a full split. Get the arms out of the way. Hey, legs can go forward this far. They can go back this far if you move them out to the side to get around the windshield. Swivel joint. So he has universal jointed hips, swivel joints in the thighs, hinged knees, and you have ankle rockers. So if you want to get Hotshot into a sprawl-legged position, you can do that if you desire. The feet can't bend downward, or you'll snap them off. They can only bend upward like that due to transformation. So foot articulation is somewhat limited. But overall, what Hotshot lacks in articulation, he makes up for with trying to be intimidating by being just one of the tallest deluxe class figures that's out there. I mean, the Siege Hound mold. It's not the largest deluxe class figure that's out there, but it's not one of the smallest. All this, so the fact that this thing stands over a head taller than this figure, I really have to give credit to the designers for making this figure almost as tall as the original Cybertron Deluxe Class Hot Shot figure was. I did see one review. I might have seen a second one where someone who still did have the original 2005 Cybertron Hot Shot figure compared it to the Legacy figure. The original Cybertron Hot Shot Deluxe figure is as unbelievable as it sounds, a slightly bulkier deluxe figure than this one. But this one is almost exactly the same height. Right, and that was I think this figure might stand almost 6 inches tall, and that was the average height for deluxe class Transformers back in during the 2000s and the days of the Unicron trilogy. The average height for deluxe class Transformers was around 6 inches, and today it's only around 4.5 to 5 inches. So yeah, there's an almost an inch in height between deluxe class Transformers that were released during the 2000s compared to the current decade of the 2020s. So yeah, that's what this figure lacks in articulation. It makes up for in sheer size. Eyes. That being said, I kind of wish they wouldn't have made the upper arms on Hot Shot hollowed out. I wish they would have filled that in just to out. Same with his thigh joints. I wish those parts made out of the red plastic would have been filled in like they were on the original Cybertron Hot Shot figure. But that's just me nitpicking over some of this figure's hollowness. So that's pretty much all there is to say about Hot Shot. So let's get him transformed into his alt mode and wrap up the review. Alright, and so here is Legacy United Cybertron Hot Shot transformed into his alt mode, and I am really impressed with how the alt mode came out. It is very faithful to the original Cybertron Deluxe Hot Shot figure. One thing they did that's more cartoon accurate than the original Cybertron Hot Shot figure is that when you peek inside the windshield on the original Cybertron Hot Shot figure, there were 2 sculpted seats and a steering wheel, yet in the Transformers Cybertron cartoon show, Hot Shot only had 1 seat instead of 2, so he was actually a sports car that was modified to be a single seat race car or figure. So the new Legacy United figure is able to be more cartoon accurate compared to the original figure by having a compartment where there's only 1 empty spot for a seat. You can't actually put any tiny figures inside there because similar to Legacy Year 1 drag strip, the bottom of Hotshot's seat is actually the back of his robot mode head. But yeah, it's pretty impressive looking there. Unfortunately, just like the original Cybertron Hotshot figure, the only real weapon storage for the laser gun that gives Hotshot a symmetrical appearance is just up here on the roof. If you want to put it on one of the sides, you can, but then for those of you who, like me, enjoy Transformers figures that have symmetry to their alt modes, then the roof is the only spot for the laser gun. And just like in robot mode, if you you can deploy the wings here in alt mode, and the wings allowed Hotshot to drive so fast he almost flew off the track. So it's almost like you could say it would be like a racing spoiler, but technically, when you come around here to the back of Hotshot, on the original Cybertron Hotshot figure, he did have a separately sculpted racing spoiler here. You can kind of see reminiscent of it here on the back with these. That's why these spaces are hollowed out to show that there is a racing spoiler on here, just like the original Cybertron Hotshot figure. The racing spoiler actually becomes the heel spurs for the Legacy figure's robot mode. It's slightly elevated off to the sides to allow space for the cyber key to be inserted. But at least it's still here on the new figure. So the wings weren't a racing spoiler themselves; they were just an extension of it. Yeah, but yeah, it's really impressive looking here. On the original Cybertron on Hotshot figure, the wings were made out of the same clear yellow plastic that the laser gun is made out of. So I kind of wish the wings would have been made out of yellow plastic instead of red plastic, just since that was more cartoon accurate. But then that's just another minor nitpick on my part. And for those of you wondering why the actual feet themselves are a separate color compared to the rest of Hotshot's back, that's because on the original figure, the feet would actually just rotate almost over 90 degrees and just fold up into the back of Hotshot's vehicle mode. Here on the new Legacy United figure, the feet fold into the vehicle mode almost in the opposite direction, where they fold inwards and then they're hidden by the heel spur section itself. So it is pretty impressive looking here. Coming here to the underside, you could rotate Hotshot's hands if you wanted to make them hidden. One nice thing is that on the original Cybertron Hotshot figure, the head was still visible, right here in this spot. You just had to rotate it around 360 degrees to hide Hotshot's face, and that was the closest he could be to being a robot in disguise, even though I have never seen a car like this one on the roads. But if you reached in and decided to fold away the hands, see if I can do it, see if there's enough room for them. Okay, and there's just barely enough room to do it, so let me get that arm in, do it on this arm. Okay, so if you rotate the hands, even though it's not much of a difference, if for instance the back of them, they look like dark blue squares, airs, and the chest, even though the robot mode chest is still visible, Cybertron Hot Shot does a fairly good job of being a robot in disguise where almost all of his robot mode parts become hidden in his vehicle mode, so that's another impressive feature about this figure. For a size comparison in alt mode, here he is again, once again, with the Generation Selects Siege Cyber Defense Hotshot figure. And so, in the Cybertron cartoon, halfway through the series, Hotshot was blasted by Megatron and he almost died. And he upgraded into an armored artillery truck. And he became one of 3 Autobots who formed the Cybertron Cyber Defense team. And so, the Generation Selects figure, being a repaint of Siege Hound, I apologize for saying that over and over again, but this figure, it's not at all. It's almost the exact opposite of this figure, whereas this figure is so faithful to the source material that it literally looks like they took the original figure and just tried to add more articulated joints and alter the transformation to allow for more poses in robot mode with the new joints. This figure doesn't look a thing like the original figure. It's just a figure with the same paint job and the same head sculpt as the original figure, and it's like, yeah, that's it. That's all this figure has going for, or compared to the original one. So hopefully we'll get a new Cyber Defense Hotshot figure to stand besides this one, and hopefully it'll be, unlike the original Cyber Defense Hotshot figure, which was also deluxe class size, hopefully it'll be Voyager class size, because in the Cybertron cartoon, Hotshot became slightly larger than he was before he was a member of the Cybertron Defense team, and the original Cybertron action figures, both being deluxe class size, it didn't look like Hotshot gained any size when he upgraded from his original form to his Cyber Defense team form. But overall, putting the wings away so they won't, because I'm afraid of snapping them off again. But overall, I'm just speechless at how great this figure out. One minor nitpick that I have with the alt mode is I wish they would have painted the same gunmetal gray on the hubcaps that the original Cybertron Hotshot figure came with. The repaint of this figure, Cybertron Excellion, the hubcaps were also painted. They're painted in a much brighter shade of silver paint. But yeah, I kind of wish they would have had the wheels on this figure painted, which is what they've been doing with a lot of the deluxe class Transformers figures on here. But considering the fact that the budget went into this action figure being entirely brand new mold, I can kind of see why they had to make the budget cut of the wheels being unpainted. But I'm just in a forgiving mood with Hotshot, with Hasbro and Dakar Tomy right now, because I'm just super excited to finally have an action figure on Cybertron Hotshot in my Transformers collection. The original Cybertron Hotshot figure, because it was the original 2005 figure was such a fantastic Transformers action figure to have. Finding him at a decent price right now on the aftermarket is like trying to find a piece of buried treasure. It's you'll be very lucky if you manage to find one at what you think is a decent price. So that's true for most of the Cybertron on action figures. But apart from the wheels being unpainted, another minor nitpick I have is I wish the designers would have designed a way to keep the Autobot logo on the front center of the hood. But again, that's just a minor nitpick, because overall, this, in my opinion, is one of the best deluxe class figures that's been released in the Legacy United line, and it might be my most favorite Legacy United deluxe class figure released so far. And that's saying something compared to how many other fantastic deluxe figures have been released, such as Gears from Legacy Wave 2, or even looking around at some of the other boxes that I can see behind me of deluxe figures that have been released so far. But yeah, this, in my opinion, is this the overall design of this Transformers figure. As I failed to get the words out of my mouth, this is what makes a fantastic deluxe class Transformers action figure. And I'm just also thrilled with how huge this figure is. For a size comparison, for a random size comparison, just before I end the review, here is uh, Legacy United Cybertron Hot Shot next to Netflix G1 Bumblebee, who he is a mashup of Bumblebee and Hot Rod. And yeah, it is no contest to which of these figures is the physically larger deluxe class figure. This one is Hot Shot is almost twice the size as Netflix Bumblebee is. So yeah. If you can find if there was a deluxe figure from the Legacy United line where you definitely pay your money's worth, it is Cybertron Hot Shot. So for the final proverbial question of the review, do I recommend getting this figure and adding it to your Transformers collection? Absolutely, I do. Even if you aren't a fan of the Transformers Cybertron cartoon show, and you aren't really much of a fan of the Unicron trilogy, Cybertron Hot Shot is one of the few Unicron trilogy action figures that can stand on its own and can stand among your Generation 1 Transformers collections. If I were to pick a version of Hot Shot that I would love to see standing besides Generation 1 Optimus Prime, G1 Bumblebee, and all the other Generation 1 Transformers characters, it would definitely be his Cybertron form. Has always been my favorite version of Hot Shot, not just from the Unicron trilogy, but every cartoon he's appeared in. I think Hot Shot's appeared in a total of 5 Transformers cartoon shows so far. In addition to the 3 Unicron trilogy shows, there was also Robots in Disguise 2001, and also Transformers Animated was the last, I believe, cartoon show that Hot Shot appeared in. But yeah, even as a standalone action figure, this is the quintessential version of Hot Shot to have in your Transformers collection. And I cannot stress enough how much of a must-have figure Hot Shot is because even if you aren't into the Transformers Cybertron line, he can stand beside Generation 1 Transformers characters. He is that impressive in my opinion. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I apologize for the review going on so long. This has been the TFN Geek, and this has been my review of Transformers Legacy United Deluxe Class Cybertron Hot Shot. This is a must-have figure. If you see this figure at a store that you visit, get it, because you definitely get your money's worth when you get Cybertron Hot Shot. I'd add him to your collection. So thank you guys all so much, and until next time, you guys, remember to please stay safe, stay healthy. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't already, and until next time, you guys, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.